Okay, we're ready to start putting in the rest of the code. We can put in a test on our logic solution. It said to put in a test for sunroof and convertible. So if, and I'm going to put each test in parentheses so it'll be easier to read. Sunroof equal y. Now, the user could enter lowercase y, so whereas in logic it just asked if sunroof equal y, we're going to say if sunroof equal y or, and use a compound or conditional test for this. Sunroof equals lowercase y. You cannot put in sunroof if sunroof equal y or lowercase y, uppercase y or lowercase y. You have to say sunroof equal to both times. It won't take the other syntax. Okay, and then we'll put in our and that's in our logic solution. And then we're going to ask for, it looks like I'll run out of room. So what I'm going to do is continue this on the next line by having a space, underscore, and then come down to the next line, tab in so that I know I'm continuing. It's more obvious. And then say convertible equals y or convertible equals lowercase y. Then, the word then is optional in logic, but here it's a required keyword. So then we'll come down and say if these are both true, that label out dot caption is equal to, and we'll say it's equal to label out dot caption convertibles do not come with a sunroof, period. And I've run off to the right, but that's partly because I have changed the font on this text so it's larger. And if you do run off to the right, it's okay in VBA. Most programmers like to keep all the stuff on so that you don't have to use a scroll bar to see the rest of the code. And that's why I use the continuance so that I could keep that on one page on the same screen. But when this is put back into its regular font, it'll show up on one page, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, so that has been done, and we are going to need to continue this. Ampersand, we're connecting that with underscore. And tab in to show that it's continuing with VB new line. 2 of them. This is so that we'll have a blank line between this message and the next line. Okay, then we want to go to the else of that if and indent. Now the else of that if, we were doing a test for car model in our logic. Car model equals Pluto. Then, you're always going to have to use then when you're in VBA. Base price is equal to, by the way, our class standard is that the word then will follow the conditional test on the if statement line, and then whatever you're going to do based on that being a true conditional test will be on the next line and be indented, show its dependence. Okay, then we go back to an else if. This is a case structure if you recall, and the else if should line up with the if that it belongs to. Car model is equal to asteroid. Base price is equal to 19,000. Else if car model is equal to pulsar and I hit the wrong key. Notice the syntax being incorrect, it shows you right away. Checks your syntax as you go. Then base price is equal to 26,000. And that's the end of this, so end if. That being done, now you can put a blank line anywhere you want to set things off to make things easier to read. So I could have done that up there and down here, so that's set off. Anyway, it's not required. If sunroof is equal to y, so now we're doing the series of one-tailed simple ifs that is in our logic. If sunroof equal y, and unlike in the logic, we're going to say or again for the same reason we did above. This is one way to make our program case insensitive. There are other ways in VBA to do that, but this is a good way because we have studied compound alternation. It's a good way to have you practice that. Okay, so then we've got extra price is equal to extra price plus, and it's 1599.99. And if, and the next one is, let's do this. Let's copy this, make this, no. Whenever I put in the word if, so because I went away from that line, it's telling me that that's not finished, and I knew that, so I just went ahead and said okay. So then we come down here and paste it in over that, and instead of sunroof, we're going to change that to leather seats. And the extended price or extra price would be for leather seats is $11.99.99. And we got another one to do, and that one is for custom speakers. And then the price for custom speakers is $5.99. And after custom speakers, we have retract, child seat, and retractable child seat is $7.99.99. And we've got, then we're down to convertible. So I guess I could do this one more time, but we'll have to change it a little bit more than we did before. This time it's convertible. Okay, and the extra price is $2,000 and 2000 and 50 cents. Okay. Instead of an end if here though, remember we had an else. And it's indented here in the else because it's dependent on the else. If, and we're going to ask if sunroof equals y, or sunroof equals lowercase y, and leather seats equals y. Okay, we've got one more to do, retract. Then, and so we've got our 4 tests in there. This will be where we have, sorry, it should go right there. It's only one indent. I was about to indent again because I thought I was out here, but I'm really already indented. So that's all you have to do for whatever you're going to execute based on this compound conditional test. And so the extra price would already have been set to the $400 more, but we're going to back it off by $400 by setting it equal to 3799.96. And then we're also going to tell the user about that. Let's see, let's do this. Let's continue that. And let's see. Special package. I've got the message right here next to me, as you should also. If you put it into your logic solution, you'll have it there, but you could also make a note of it somewhere else, and I have it on a piece of paper so that you won't have to look it up again. Package price. Now we're getting to the end of the line. Now we're in the middle of a literal, so I'm going to end that part of the literal. In fact, I'm going to put a space first so that I know I already have that there. Then I'll end the literal. Then I've got to continue that onto the next line and start the continuance with another quote mark. I've already got the space after price, so I just start right in here. For the sunroof leather seats custom speakers, etc. Now again, I'm going to end that and continue that on the next line. It's a long literal. Let's see, speakers and built-in retractable. Child seat, which saves. Now, I'm still going to run out of room. So again, space, then an ampersand, underscore, next line. I already have the blank between saves, you, $400, period, end of literal. I'm going to concatenate on the end of that a VB new line so that it's set up for the next line. And then I'm done with that finally. This is what I've got for the output line. Then we're going to end this if. And we're going to end this if. And then we're going to say total car price is equal to base price. This all coming from the logic solution. The logic solution is the map. See, when I get here to the VBA solution, I should not be thinking about solving this logically. I should just be thinking about how to write the syntax, how to carry out that syntax. I already have solved this problem logically. I don't have to redo that. I don't have to reinvent the wheel, so to speak. Okay, so total car price equals bed price plus extra price. And then label out. Caption is equal to label out caption ampersand the total price, and I'm running out of room again, the total price of your, and I'm going to put the model of the car in here. I know that wasn't something we talked about before, but let's say that the user came and asked for us to do that, and I'll show you how to amend your logic solution to include that. In your labs, you may have forgotten to do something like this, but when you're going to output something, it should be in the output list, and that's primarily where the problem is, and also the output statement. But anyway, the total price of your car, and we're going to put the model here, so we'll end the literal, and then continue, paste in, concatenate is actually the proper word, car model, and then we're going to concatenate that, inserted that into this sentence, and then we're going to do, we need a space in front of the word including. I could actually put out the extras that they put, but we're just going to say including any extras that, now I've run out of room again. Most of the time I'm running out of room here because I've changed the font. You shouldn't have to run out of room like this as much because you'll have a smaller font size. So including any extras that you want is, and that literal, concatenate that with total car price. Concatenated with, and let's put a period on the end of the sentence, and then concatenate. Let's go down to the next line since we're done with that part of it, and we're going to concatenate in VB new line 2 times so that we have a space between this and the next output. Okay, that statement's done. And it's telling me expected end of statement here, and the reason it's telling me that, glad this happened, is that I forgot to begin the literal here. I didn't put in the quote mark for that, and neither did I do it here, so I'm going to correct that as well right now while I see it. And now let's see, when I go away from that line, yeah, it took it. So it didn't change it to red. That means that it liked the syntax. And now I can come out and I'm going to end an end if way out here. That is the end if that started way up here, right here, where it said if sunroof equal to y and convertible equal to y else. And if you notice, my indentation being proper. There is no end if for that if else until you get down to here. So we had to end that. And we're now done with this application. The next thing that we will do is to run this.